Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews, and we've made it all the way to the end. It is Daredevil Season 3, Episode 13. It's called A New Napkin. Very... I mean, I know what it means, but that's a weird title. So full spoilers, we haven't seen it. We've made it. Man, there were so many different things I wanted to pick for the background. But him hanging out on top of a roof, like sitting like a frog, looking at his Daredevil, was about as non-spoilery as I could get. There were some fight scene pictures I wanted to put in there and other stuff, but it just didn't, like the very, very end I was thinking about putting in, but man, just in case, when somebody's clicking on this, they don't see something that gives away the plots of this. So here we go. So let's just decide, I've got to decide right now here, what did I think about this overall? And I mean, it was a good season. It was not as disappointing as, I shouldn't say it like that. As disappointed as I was in the Man in the High Castle, and as, that was not this. This was, again, it wasn't my favorite season. I do feel like there was a lot of stuff in here this season that was supposed to mirror the political climate, let's just say that, of America right now. I do feel like the FBI agent and what was going on with that whole thing was supposed to be about something too, but I didn't, there were some messages in here that I wish, could have just been left out of my show, but not my show, this show. My show, it's mine. You can't have it, no. It felt like there was some kind of things going on behind the scenes as far as like what they were trying to say with this season. I still say it was the Kingpin season. And now that I'm saying that again, it's like I'm wondering what else they were trying to say by making it the Kingpin season. Again, kudos to D'Onofrio for just nailing it. I mean, Jesus. As far as acting goes, he's the best acted villain in the Marvel universe. This whole thing kind of comes together pretty quickly, which is... It's cool to see. Like I said, spoilers. Bullseye-ish, Daredevil, and Kingpin all fighting against each other. That's way up there. I mean, that makes this episode like one of the best episodes of the show. Period. Daredevil setting up Kingpin. I mean, it all was all really clean, and with everything being so complicated and everything not going their way, the whole season just perfectly plotted out by Kingpin. The fact that everything comes together so clean is a little weird, because they had extra security. Now granted, like, it was the C Squad, but I would have thought that Fisk would have had like way more. He would have made this impregnable. And instead, it was just really easy peasy, man. And, we just see how not that great of the writing they've done with Poindexter's character. He's so easily manipulated. And just even Matt just easily manipulates him. Hey, Fisk killed your girl. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, I know you will. You're going to check it out. Here's the address. Here's her body, which he brought her frozen corpse to the wedding, but then didn't do anything with it. Like, they should have, if he was going to bring the body, why did he just leave it in the car? If he was trying to make a statement, why didn't he bring it to the wedding? Like, have the corpse sitting right there when he's going, I'd like to make a toast, me and Julie. But there was no Julie. Go really weird with it. Go super weird with it. So that for a second there, he's just standing there next to the frozen corpse of this woman that Fisk had killed. That would have been crazy cool. And just depraved. But, maybe that's just me. Everybody having their phones out during the first dance was a little bizarre. I know we all have our phones out, but everybody just suddenly getting the link to watch this video at the same time, a little bizarre. There's really, again, not much to say. I mean, I was right. You know, he made not just the message to his wife, but the FBI agent made a whole confession. It's like this is his second confession. I guess this is the one that's not sealed, that Fisk can't hide. I would have thought that he'd have, filmed his actual murder, like had his camera set up where he'd be whatever. I guess that's fine too. Matt's speech at the end with the eulogy at the priest, that to me sounded the most like the Matt Murdock I hear in my head when I read Daredevil comics. I know we all we see this guy, and he might, if you read a Daredevil comic, you might suddenly start hearing his voice through the comic. In this case, I've always had kind of a different characters' voices sounding in my head when I read comics, and this was the closest to what I feel like the best representation of how Matt Murdock sounds in my head was that eulogy, and the rest of the episode, like the closeout of this episode. Charlie Cox is really great, and I do hope that the way they ended it doesn't mean that it's over. I don't know how the whole Disney streaming service thing is going to go, and how many, are they going to integrate all these into their streaming service? Is there more time for another season of Daredevil before all these shows go away? Because yes, we get that ending where Bullseye becomes Bullseye. He's getting his spine worked on and his eyes open, and they're like the target. That was kind of, I don't know, kind of whatever. Like the kind of cliffhanger like ending that you see in a lot of things with the villain's not really dead. I mean, it felt like a horror movie ending where the killer suddenly opens his eyes and it's like, dun, 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 Michael Myers will be back in Halloween 65. Jason Voorhees will be back in Friday the 13th, The Reckoning. But I mean, why didn't you just give us Bullseye in the first place? Just give us Bullseye, but and then we could move it on. But if they come back, and if Bullseye is in the next season, all these ifs, make him really Bullseye instead of this Poindexter guy. Give him the fucking costume, please, and not the Colin Farrell one, where it's just a fucking thing on his head, which was so goddamn stupid. And in that movie, it had a lot of stupid things in it, but that was one of the dumbest. Nelson, Murdock, and Paige, them working together, finding their way back to each other is fine. But again, it was the way it was going to go. I said this way, way back in early episodes, that don't get used to the Matt that they were showing in this season. He has to find his way back to everybody. Same as how I said the FBI agent was going to eventually have to figure out how to try to redeem himself. It was all really predictable. The only thing that I didn't think was predictable was Fisk's downfall. Like, was he going to even fall? Part of me thought that they would just say he'd figure out a way out of it. And speaking of ways out of it, his wife, man. Okay, what was up with her? They gave her nothing to do. So she apparently is fine with him being a criminal. Are they trying to set her up as maybe Kingpin 2.0 woman version of Kingpin? I really thought that it would make sense that she was playing him and showing that she wasn't with, for what he's been doing, especially when she looked at the blood on the painting, realizing how Poindexter had gotten it, had clearly killed the previous owner or did something terrible to her. I really thought that maybe she would have done something to, like shot Kingpin at the end or something like that. It was a little disappointing what they did with her. Like, why bring her back to really do nothing with her but just be the actress standing there kind of blank-faced most of the time? Just, Wilson, should Matt have killed him? Nah. You can't, did that, all these movies, like, my biggest complaint of, like, the original Batman in 1989 was killing the Joker. You don't get rid of, like, the villains. They don't just die. In comic books, they come back. You have to have the option of them coming back. They have to go to jail. They have to get caught, or they escape. It's the old thing, like, otherwise, you've written yourself into a corner, and the only way you can bring them back is, like, fucking zombies or reboot or whatever. So it's good that the Kingpin is still around. It gives you options. He doesn't even have to be a character on the show, because I still say, this season really would have benefited from, like, a little bit of Frank Castle or Luke or Jessica or even Iron Fist. Even if it was just for one episode, and even if it wasn't for a fight, maybe just for some people to go, hey, Matt, what the fuck are you doing? But other than that, I mean, things are kind of back to normal. And that fight scene was pretty goddamn good. Worth the price of admission, pretty much. I wish it didn't take us 13 episodes. 10 would have been nicer. I know I should be going, why wouldn't I want 13 episodes? I would love 13 episodes if you've got good enough content to fill all 13. But yeah, I mean, it's my least favorite season, but it's the best of the Netflix shows that are Marvel. And saying it, the third season's the worst is like trying, it's not bad at all. But if I had to rank them, it'd be 2, 1, 3. And 2 and 1 are like so close, man. I don't know. So it's still 2 because it's the Punisher. But anyway, that's it. It was way more worth the wait than Man in the High Castle season 3, unfortunately, for me. And that's about it. So if you liked this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. We will be, I feel like I maybe am missing to say some things about this. All the acting was really, really good. I wish that I hope D'Onofrio or somebody like along those lines, like gives him a nomination for something. And I really do hope that they figure out a way to keep these shows going in some capacity, at least Daredevil. I honestly could care less if the other ones keep going. It was nice that they were there, except Punisher. You gotta keep going with the Punisher too, and don't reboot that sucker. And if you do, you better keep John Bernthal. So anyway, that's it for this section of reviews. I want to thank everybody for watching these with me. Thanks for putting up with me. Again, we hit 400 subscribers, so that's fantastic. So thank you for the support, all that stuff. It's incredible. It's so incredible. So I think the universe is giving me a break, and there's nothing majorly bingeable coming out. So we're going to start doing a few different shows. We're going back to Orphan Black. We're got the Romanoffs that come out every Friday. We got South Park. We got the Connors. We've got... we start doing Patriot on Amazon. It's a show that's got its season 2 coming out. I want to redo all those. And then Pushing Daisies. I said I was going to do them. I am doing Pushing Daisies because I freaking need to rewatch and review that weird show. And so who knows what else. I've got a comic book catch-up video I need to make. And my 400 subscriber video I got to do too. So even though it seems like I'm taking a break, I get to do a whole bunch of different things instead of trying to focus on one until the next thing comes out and surprises the hell out of me, and then I gotta, do all that. So anyway, this is Robert Smirking on Review saying, take it easy. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.